Get a 60-day free trial from today's sponsor at shipstation.com/forge. Welcome back to the workshop. We are joined with Matt and his team from Lancaster Armoury.
Good to meet you, Alec.
So what is it that Lancaster Armoury does?
So Lancaster Armoury, for the last 40 years, has been making armour for reenactors. In addition to armour, we do swords, weapons, polearms, maces, anything really that belongs in bespoke metalwork, but focusing on medieval metalwork. And this is all your work? This is all the work and the team's work, yep.
And this is utterly unbelievable. What do we have on the table?
Thank you. So this is a breastplate, and this is in the German style called a Kastenbrust, which means box breast. Very different to the earlier one, well, similar time period. The fashion comes and starts to change it, but it's very much globular. And we see the flutes, not only do they add decoration, but they add rigidity to the piece and deflection. And a lot of plate armour development was really to allow deflection. That's the best way to transfer the energy and keep you out of danger.
This is absolutely gorgeous. And so the plan today is for us to hammer out a breastplate in this workshop. So this component on that finished blackened piece.
Yeah.
This is one that's kind of in progress that you brought to show us. It goes right here. What material are we going to use and how on earth do we get started?
Yes, so this is going to make us a 1385, so 14th century style breastplate, and we're going to start with a 3mm mild steel sheet, and we're going to draw out the edges, hopefully on the power hammer. So we want to keep a thickness in the centre here, and then the sides we can start to thin out maybe to 1.5 or 1 mil even. Awesome.
Well, let's get to it. We'll get the forge going and start tapering the edges of some steel. So you guys have sketched this out, and so how do we cut this out? What's the way?
So historically we'd use a nice big shear, or you could even use chisels to cold cut, but I think for today we probably just use an angle grinder.
Right, all right, let's get this thing cut.
Yeah.
All right, I've got this cut out. Dan is also going to be helping us.
Hello there.
You're going to be running the power hammer, getting the edges tapered. Is this about as close as you need it?
Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep the original thickness here. You want it thicker on the side where you're going to be struck from the most, which is your left side, you know, for people who are right-handed.
That's wild.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to get the edges hot, and we're going to draw these out to about 1 mil, 1.2.
Sweet. Finally, a use for the parallel jaw tongs. I'm so happy you actually like those tongs. It's the first time they've actually been used.
They all really good for doing sheet work.
Well, I'm gonna have a crack. All right, how do you like the look of that?
I think this is going to be perfect for what we need. So now what we're going to do, we have to dish it.
And so this is fortunately a tool that I made like 2 years ago. And it looks like crap, but it's actually going to be useful, you think?
That is going to be perfect for what we need. So we're going to start off from the outer edge and slowly work our way inwards.
So what are the hammers that you're going to be using to dome this?
So for the dishing technique, where we're going to be stretching the metal, working from the inside, pushing it downwards, we're going to be using what I'd refer to as a doming hammer. So we've got just a nice large head, quite a good heavy weight, and it's just nicely rounded off. A lot of armouring hammers, you want to keep a soft edge to it because we don't want to scar the metalwork because we're working with sheet metal, because it's just going to start to make it fracture, tear, or split later on.
So want nice, smooth edges on it.
Even our anvils, you'll be probably shocked to have them if you had it, because all the corners are just dulled off. You know, you can't do any of your traditional smithing techniques on a lot of it. Everything gets a radius on it, pretty much in our workshop.
quick interruption to thank today's sponsor, which is ShipStation. It's web-based software designed to make you exceptionally efficient at processing, fulfilling, and shipping your orders so that you can help your customers and you can save money. No matter where you sell your products, whether Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Squarespace, ShipStation will integrate with your online store and sync all your orders into your main dashboard, from which you can create powerful automations to turn shipping into an effortless one-click operation, but you also have the ability to customize the exact shipping option for the particular product. And speaking of which, when you're a ShipStation member, you get access to the type of shipping rates that usually only Fortune 500 companies can get. I'm talking up to 84% off of USPS or UPS rates, and you'll never have to waste time on a trip to the post office again because you can schedule a USPS pickup from inside your ShipStation account. No matter how your business scales, they've got enterprise solutions to scale with you, and it's so good that 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year stick with them for life. So please go and try it out. It takes barely any time to get set up, and you'll get a 60-day free trial when you go to shipstation.com/forge. The link is down below. We've been using ShipStation for years, and we love it, and I'm sure that you will too. Let's get back to the video. Right, that warming up?
Yeah, it's more than plenty.
So you don't even need to heat these edges, they're so thin, you can just go for it.
Yeah, that's the good thing about sheet metal work is you can do a lot of it quite cold. It's only this centre thickness that you can feel it.
That's where we're going to really need the heat.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys have got the outside edges bent up. What is happening now?
Right, so now it's got a bit of a curve to it, which makes it a bit easier to set onto a ball state. We're going to do what we call raising, a really fundamental technique of armouring, and it works best when the metal is nice and hot. And essentially, we have to offset the metal at a slight angle on the ball state, and in the area it's not being supported by the ball, a hammer with an oblong face is going to strike into that air
Wait, you're going to use the peen?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it needs to have, again, very soft curved off edges so we don't leave any scarring, and we're going to strike on the offset. So we're pushing it down at an angle.
So if your metal's on here, you're not hitting over top of where it's contacting on the bottom.
No.
You're always offset to where it's contacting.
In the aim of pushing the metal down to almost touch that. If it's done correctly, we actually thicken the piece. So we actually gain height without losing thickness of the parent metal. Whereas dishing, we were going to gain height on the piece, but by stretching the metal.
Got it.
And so you can only do that so far to gain a certain height. So if you need to do a very tall object, raising is the answer.
Got it. Oh wow, so you're like 2 or 3 inches off of the ball. That's cool. That's so cool. You can see the form of the ball and exactly where he's hitting off of the ball. So you're just going to progressively widen out the bulge that you're making around the form.
Yeah, we have to do it in steps, which you call passes.
Yeah.
It will take several passes to get the completed shape we want, because you can't jump the steel too quickly down.
So you're going to go around it and then make it a little wider, then a little wider, then a little wider?
Exactly so. But if you're getting wider, it's actually just getting deeper.
Okay.
As we do our raising pass, we can continue to hit here, and then I can skip to the side of it, hitting there, leaving a middle section untouched. So when we have that raised area, once this is cooled off a little bit, we can put all the heat into that, then tap that down, and it will upset and thicken into there.
That is so cool.
Allowing us to control thickness quite accurately.
And so that's exactly what you're doing now. You're hitting that triangle, eh?
Yeah, just that spot, just to get it pushed in. Bit of a wrinkle development there, a bit of a twist, so we're going to now get that bit hot, hammer it out. A lot of armouring does become about controlling warpage and wrinkles, because sheet just doesn't support itself maybe like bar work does.
Yeah.
So yeah, battling warps is a constant thing. So we're starting to get our depth that we'd want for the breastplate.
Like that?
Yeah, kind of like that, it's quite close. So we do a pass like that, and then a bit deeper and going around again.
Like that?
And then we'd like step back like an inch, and then go in again. There we go. So then maybe we put a bit more heat onto it now.
Yep.
So we just get this bulge here a little bit hot, and then we do that again.
This thing's really starting to look like a bit of armour.
It is, yeah. Once it starts to go, it really starts to go.
So here's where we're at. This thing has been roughed in with the shape. You can see the profile of it is really starting to approximate the final thing. So what is the next step?
Right, so once this has cooled down, we're going to start looking at measuring it up. It needs some of the edges cut back a bit, so it's going to fit yourself. And at that stage, we can look at giving it a planish. Right, I think what we'll do then is put you in soft kit and get them dressed up, then I can actually do the actual measurements I want, and I can trim this.
So you're saying I need to dress up properly?
You do. We need to get you in an arming doublet and some mail.
Get dressed for battle. Thank you for supplying us with this kit for this video. Oh, yes! That is so cool.
I must say, Alec, you actually look quite ridiculous.
You look, wait, I look ridiculous. Hang on a second. Very stylish get up today, Jamie. Right, let's get measured up. So with the measurements from me, you can now make this the final size.
Yeah, I'm putting back in the centre line and then trying to decide basically where I'm going to trim away from. So obviously I think I'm going to cut it down here. That will get rid of some of this wrinkling and then give me a clean edge to roll back.
So while this is getting cut, there's a piece that you want me to make?
Yeah, that's right. We've got the stop rib, which goes onto the front of the breastplate, and that helps stop anything glancing up towards the throat.
And so this is, I mean, how thick should that be off the surface? 10 mil?
It's probably pretty close to about 10 mil, yeah.
Okay. So is this the beginning of planishing?
Yeah, this now is the start of planishing. The very rough bumps, I'm just going to take out the bigger hammer, but then we will switch over to a lighter one, just a bit more control.
Sweet, so all you're doing is you've got a round surface up top,
Yep.
on the hammer, flat on the bottom.
Exactly.
That's planishing.
Yep. You're pinching it, not too hard, just to level out all the surface. And getting a smooth surface from the planish makes it so much easier to file, to level it, and then like sand, and then get your finished polish. 20 minutes spent doing good planishing will save you an hour of grinding almost,
Nice.
you know, if you get it right. But now I've switched to the smaller raising hammer here, gives me a little bit more control. We get a much more defined ledge or like step that we're going to start pushing down. And this is where I can, yeah, just have a lot more control really to do minute adjustments in the steel to get it to the shape I want.
Do you ever use kind of sheet metal working machinery like car body people might use to do any of this work?
Not with the handmade high-end stuff we try and do, that approach it as best we can with the budget of the customer, do it as historically accurate as we could. The main cheats we might take are welding a helmet. So a very tricky piece to make from one piece. We'd weld them down the centre.
Right, there is the stock rib. Look at that. It's coming together. What is the purpose of the rolled edge?
So the rolled edge provides comfort, so you're not sitting with it having a quite sharp edge against your throat potentially, or any of your other body parts. It also stops weapons glancing up. Thirdly, it does add a lot of rigidity and strength to a piece.
Got it.
It really can reinforce, certainly a spring steel item, which can maybe be without a rolled edge, a little bit springy when you're closing on the armour. But that rolled edge goes in it, you know, you're trying to crush it in that way.
It's just not good.
Not really going to move, no.
So with every pass, you're just asking a little bit more of the metal with how much it needs to bend. Okay, so you're not just trying to bend it, but also that it bends and hits this surface.
Yeah, we want a very slight pinch on it.
Okay.
So it's kind of got a push down and pinch.
Oh, that is so satisfying.
That looks so good.
So now we're going to start turning it back on itself. Hopefully your horn will do okay.
All right, here we go. The rolled edge looks just like a bit of forged round bar. That is so cool. This thing looks so cool. This is going to attach on there. We'll need to just do ever so little bits of tweaking, make up a few rivets, and the next steps for this to be finished are what?
So we've got a tiny bit of planishing to go, and then we're going to finish some rolled edges together, and then it's going to be going into the grinding room for a bit of a weight reduction, and then it'll be polished. And Alec has decided to be very fancy and go for a blue finish. So that will be very fun to do.
Oh no, have I made life difficult for us with the blue finish?
You've made life fun because it's my favourite thing to do. I love doing battered armours.
Good.
As I've showed off earlier today,
Well, I
they
like that
are
a
my
lot.
favourite entirely.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. I'm very, very grateful. Where can people find out about the work that it is that you guys make?
Right, we are Lancaster Armoury. We are on just lancasterarmoury.co.uk and Lancaster Armoury on Facebook and Instagram.
And the plan is that we're going to go and see your workshop to finish off this breastplate. And I can't wait to do that. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you there. Thank you, Alec.
See you soon.
See ya.
Thank you guys for coming as well.